Hello, everybody. What's up? What's going on? And welcome to the 70th episode of Raptors in One. So, guys, I know it's been a very long time since I posted my last video. At that time, Pascal had a big night. Raptors were kind of looking like, we were on the right trajectory. And then I've been kind of off just because I was literally off. I was on vacation with my family. We had gone over to the beautiful beautiful country of Malaysia, specifically the Penang Island. Again, to all my Malaysian folks, selamat pagi. It was the country was great. Country was beautiful. Beaches were great. The resort, Park Royal Penang, amazing resort. The only thing we couldn't really enjoy all of our vacation because we had luggage issues. And I'm gonna do like a mini vlog series on our trials and tribulations with this luggage issue, just to give you guys a kind of a preview. We basically didn't get our luggage at all for our vacation, and right now we just have at least my wife and kids. They got their luggage pretty much at the end of our vacation, and I haven't gotten my luggage yet, and it's been 2 weeks. So, piece of advice for everybody: don't go with Air Canada or Sunwing. I'm being very serious about this. Even if it means you got to pay an extra 10 grand to fly with another airlines, do it. And again, I'll explain to you guys about this in a separate video, which has nothing to do with Raptors. But again, at least we're back. It's a new year. And we're going to cover some Raptors news. So without any further ado, let's get it. So the Raptors, I missed watching the Raptors when I was on vacation. Again, also because Malaysia is a whole 12 hours ahead. So I would miss those games. And we didn't have the coverage in our hotel. Having said that, I was kind of following them online. And I was like, damn, Raptors really had a really cold blue month of December and possibly a little bit of January too. But the past 3 games we've gone on a little bit of a run, and apparently this is like the longest streak we've been on this season. I gotta say, my thoughts on that. Honestly, I thought the squad that we have, the talent that we have, is not reflective of the record that we're experiencing right now. And while you can all place blame on the players, I think some of this blame has to go on the coaching staff as well. Probably even Nick Nurse. Again, just my opinion and what I'm speculating about why I would blame Nick Nurse is because I think he has so much talent on the roster. And again, don't get me wrong, I don't think this is like a or A plus kind of talent on the roster. But it's definitely not under 500 kind of a roster that we have either. I think Nick Nurse is still trying to figure out how to use his personnel. And again, he's taking the same play out of last year's playbook, which is, ride your starters to the ground, playing them like north of 35 minutes a game. That's insane, I really thought that he would have changed it around this time. Mind you, some of it is also not his fault because, let's face it, the bench was kind of underwhelming up to this point of the season. And, injuries also plagued us. But you know what? Injuries is a part of the game. You still got to figure it out. And we still got to give the bench players some more minutes and some more reps. I think I've yet to see Delano play consistently. Malachi's been getting a few minutes here and there. I'm kind of liking that, and he's actually, in my opinion, if we give him some more minutes in a game, and of course it all depends on matchups, I think he could really impact from the bench, and I think he could help develop the bench. Precious is back, and you know what? He's now on the right path, a right track to get back to the Precious from the previous season, especially towards the end of that, like, post All-Star Precious. Yeah, I think we're getting that Precious back. And what better time than now, right? Yeah, so again, I just really hope that whatever path that we're on now, I hope we can sustain that success. And I'm not saying that, we need to go on like a crazy 8 or 12 game win streak. I mean, it would be nice, especially if you want to make the playoffs and not just the play in. Because, again, playing in the play in can be fun, but it makes the playoffs that much more longer for you. So I think, I think we just need to make the playoffs. That's about it. Now, of course, Pascal's been having a career year, man. Like, Pascal's been crazy. He's definitely an all-star, and I would be surprised and not too surprised if he didn't make the all-star, because again, the East, especially in the forwards position, is pretty stacked. However, in my mind and in my heart, and it's not just because I'm a big Raptors fan and I'm a Pascal fan, but I cannot put Jimmy Butler ahead of Pascal. That's just me, and only because Jimmy is a bucket getter, 100%. But to be an all-star, you can't just be a bucket getter. You can't just be scoring a lot of points. You got to be affecting all the other stats as well. Yes, he's a good defender too, but if you look at the overall play, if you were to compare Pascal and Jimmy's impact on their teams, I think Pascal has more of an impact. Now, the Raptors record, I gotta say, I was definitely disappointed by I would say, end of November up to like beginning of January. Our performance was definitely not indicative of the talent that we have on the roster. Having said that, though, I think a lot of people, especially the Raptors fans, definitely some analysts as well, whether they were ESPN or, NBA Inside on TNT, whatever, all those, even social media, Twitter was going nuts. And they were already saying, oh yeah, the Raptors, oh geez, it's Tankathon, going for the Wemby race, whatever the case may be. And honestly, if you compare the Raptors with all these other squads that have great names, you look at the Bulls, they're not any better. They've got amazing players on their roster too. Like they got DeMar DeRozan, they got Nikola Vucevic, and they got Zach LaVine. So, you have great players on these squads too, yet those squads are underwhelming. Look at the Lakers. Here we go, right? Even they're plagued with injuries, and they're a prime example of a franchise that has dumped so much salary on these supposed franchise players. Don't get me wrong. I think Anthony Davis definitely has the ability to be a franchise player. He just needs to take it. He just needs to just own up to it, like LeBron said. And of course, LeBron is just LeBron, right? He's always in that GOAT debate with Michael. But you all know where I stand over there, right? But regardless, you gotta admit LeBron is definitely in Mount Rushmore of the NBA for sure. And then you got Russell Westbrook. Now, Russell, he's been playing well off the bench, and that's all great and dandy. But if we look at all these records and compare that to ours, we're not that bad off, guys. And and you know what? I'm not trying to say that the glass is half full, but I'm also not trying to say that the glass is half empty. I'm saying there's just a glass, there's water in it. There's no need to panic just yet. We still got half of the season left. We still got post All-Star. We'll see how the squad does. And of course, we got the trade deadline. Now I'm going to talk about the trade deadline. So based on the Raptors' performance so far, it seems like a lot of people want to break the squad up. And I am not necessarily opposed to breaking the squad up. But which pieces do we need to get rid of? Now that is the big picture. And this could definitely shape up, I would say, not just our future, but it will definitely also help some of the other playoff contending teams who have championship aspirations, especially the kind of names that have been popping in the media about the kind of players that are on the trading block that the management may not necessarily even want to trade them, but they're still willing and they're still seeing what they can get. That's pretty crazy. And it makes me wonder if maybe the management wants in on the whole Wemby race or even the Scoot Henderson race. Maybe, who knows? Now, some of the names that have been popping up are Pascal, surprisingly, again. And what's surprising to me is that some of the fans are actually willing to give up on Pascal, especially when he's having a career year. Is this going to be like a Raptors thing where it's like, hey, Dwayne Casey was coach of the year? Fire him. Done. DeMar DeRozan, he was having a career year? Trade him off. Now, Pascal's having a career year. You got to trade him off too. But again, what can we get for Pascal? And I think for Pascal, yes, we can get decent pieces, but I would be more looking into getting not just decent pieces, but we need to have a good spot in the draft as well, especially next year's draft. If we can, if it means like, I don't know, like top 3 draft pick for Pascal, sure. We could, I would reluctantly give him up, but I would still reluctantly give him up because I think you can build around Pascal. I think Pascal needs some pieces. Does that mean that he is going to be the go-getter? It is possible. It is very possible. He's been playing like he could be, but we still need maybe somebody who doesn't need so many touches, but a leader. Somebody to orchestrate the not just the offense, the defense, but just be that leader on and off the court. Even Freddie's name is being thrown into the mix of possible trades, and rightfully so. I mean, he had just supposedly, now again, reports are very confusing, so you can't believe everything you hear. Apparently, he had rejected declined his offer of the contract that was offered to him by the management, and he was saying, well, I didn't necessarily reject it. We were just saying, hey, let's just wait and see how this season unfolds. And I'm thinking to myself, well, isn't that basically saying, yeah, you know what, I'm not accepting your offer? But hey, I mean, whatever. Either way, he's in the talks too. And if you were to ask me, should we give up Fred? I think if we want to rebuild, let's give up Fred. With Fred, he knows the Raptors playbook inside out. He knows what Nurse wants. He knows basically, like he's basically Larry almost 2.0 right now. So if you give him another season or so, he will be Larry 2.0. But again, you trade him, that means you're accepting the fact that you're going to rebuild. Now, the next player on the trading block, I'm kind of not surprised. There are 2 players on the trading block here. The next 2 players, I'm going to mention them together. OG Anunoby and Gary Trent. Now, of course, if you've checked out my previous videos, you would have realized that I've already spoken about Gary Trent being on the trading block and why that makes sense. So I'm not going to get too much into that because I want you to check out my channel. Of course, how do you do that? You go ahead, check out my channel. You like my content. If you like it, hit that thumbs up button. And of course, if you want to subscribe and check out my other content, you're more than welcome to do that. Welcome to the Raptors in One family. Love to have you. So OG Anunoby, he's the next piece and his name has been tossed around quite a bit, and it seems like he's a very coveted piece across the league, alongside Pascal. I get it, but with OG, I'm kind of split on OG. If I want to get rid of him or if I don't. Even though I say I'm 50-50, I'm kind of leaning more towards keeping him, and just because it seems like he's become more durable now, and when he's durable, you can see the upside to him. Even before, when he was having so many injury-plagued seasons, whenever he was healthy and on the court, you could see the potential. But now you're seeing that he's a defensive monster, and he's a steals leader right now. But the icing on the cake is that now he's becoming a lot more consistent with his three-point shot. And of course, he's like the kind of when he's driving into the paint, he's getting that kind of like an old man strength, kind of like a Kawhi Leonard. He kind of looks like, and I wouldn't be surprised if he ever trained with Kawhi, because he's definitely picked up a few tricks from his bag of tricks there. I guess what management is trying to see is, do we roll the dice with them? Do we run it back with them? Or do we have a fresh start, maybe get some good, interesting pieces, maybe some good draft picks, and in that case, start anew and maybe start building around Scotty? At the end of the day, I still think we need to trade some pieces. And from the starters, if you really need to trade somebody, as much as I love Gary Trent, we could trade him if it means we can get a decent piece in return or decent draft pick in return, right? Because Gary Trent, he can decline his player option for next season, and it seems like he will, because coming off the bench, he's been playing nuts. He could very well, he's making a case for himself to be like either the most improved player or a sixth man off the bench. From the three players, from Pascal, Freddie, and OG, if I needed to get rid of one, oh man, that I kind of put myself in that tough spot. But I gotta say, as much as I love Freddie, sorry baby, we gotta go. We gotta split. It's just because, it's just, yes, he's a good player, but lately it's the consistency issue, and that doesn't mean that, he can be more consistent in the future. It can very well mean that. I just think that we need to try something new. I think we need to move on from Fred. I would keep Pascal, I would keep OG, I would keep Scotty. Freddie, Gary, it's been nice knowing you, but if we can get some good pieces off of you and some good trade picks, I'm pulling the trigger on it. So that's all I got for today, folks. Again, I can't wait for the game tonight as we take on the Atlanta Hawks. Can't wait to see how the Raptors perform. So until next time, I'm out.